Welcome, everybody, to Kristen Clark Unmasked. And with me today is Melanie Hill. And the reason I reached out to Melanie is as you guys know, for me, it's about the people who light up. I'll be scrolling through Facebook or something, and they'll say one little thing in a comment of something, and I'm like, oh, there's my next guest. And I don't know what that thing is. I have no idea what it is, and the fact that you wore yellow was perfect because that's you lighting up.
I changed my clothes.
So welcome, Melanie.
I get the feed.
see, that's you right there. So whatever is stirring up in you right now, let it out right now, whatever that is.
Well, I actually just got off a call with Sanjala. And you know nice.
Sanjala Mansingh.
Yes. And so I am fired up, of course, because she is just so, uplifting. And my vibe responds to her vibe. But I guess one of my biggest new things is I just started a new exercise program that I am loving. And I'm loving it because of the energy of it. I've been working out with a trainer for a while, and I have not felt this energized about doing exercise, at least for a long, long, long time. And it's just because they're looking at, like I said, I'm this energy about, I guess it's like loving yourself. It's about learning something new and exciting, learning it. These are people who are really like passionate about this, not just trying to sell you something. I mean, they are passionate about what they're doing and have created something that there's probably over 12,000 people that are in this class.
Wow.
And are psyched about this stuff. And the first thing that drew me to it was that we would have less time exercising. And it's more efficient. I love efficiency. I love easy. I prayed for easy. And this was one of my, one of the responses from my inner being, from life, was that here's an easy thing.
There it is.
For you.
I love that. Yay. And I love that you said, my motto is life is simple, easy, fun. I love that.
Yeah.
But I love that you said new. Because new, for some reason today, new is coming up. New keeps coming up left and right around me. And, I think about all the diets I've been on, right? And it's like, okay, it worked. Why wouldn't I go back to it? But the next time something new comes, I'm like, and it works. And then I gain the weight back, and I can't go back. I can never go back to these diets. Every single one of them worked. Yeah. But I think there's something so us in
new, ever changing, ever expanding, and that's what it is. I mean, and that's part of the reason why I'm looking at this program. It looks like it's going to be ever expanding. They also, a portion of it is teaching you how to make it your own thing, and how for you to expand it and create it. And that's now you say that is what gets me excited about it. My trainer is trying to figure out, why is she so enthusiastic about this? She hates the exercise. All I can say is that it's just, it's the possibilities that are created by their passion, by what they're bringing to it. They've improved on something that's been done. So, it's not rocket science, but it is new.
Isn't this the epitome of life? Is it? I mean, you hear them say, Abraham never looks back, looks back, right?
Yeah.
And they say that over and over and over and over. And it's like, can we drill it into your head a little bit more? It's right. This ever stepping forward into the new, into the new, into the new, and not calling us getting old. because we're
Right.
not, we're not
Right.
old. We're
Right.
new, and each day we're
Oh yeah.
new. And
Yeah.
I love this. I love this. I love that we're going into this direction.
Yeah.
So another word that came up for me today is expectation. Expecting. What do you expect into your world? What is that? Does that bring anything up for you? And if it doesn't, no worries.
Oh, expecting to. Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's all part of that too. I mean, I have an expectation that I've cultivated over the years of things getting better and better.
Yeah.
I mean, I turn around when I start thinking things are going to get worse. If people are starting a conversation expecting things are going to get worse, this is going to get worse, I'm thinking, why not expect them to get better? It's just as easy to expect it to get better than worse. I mean, why choose worse? I mean, so, yes, expectation is exciting. Expectation is, well, at least on the side of expecting something new, or expecting something better, expecting life to come up with some surprises. I mean,
Yeah.
expect surprises. That's, it just makes it enlivens life to me.
Ooh.
So I feel like if I start my day with expectation, okay, I actually end up, when I was in the habit of, I would drive to work and I would just say fun, ease, laughter. I mean, those were my expectations for the day. Of course, I got it
Yeah.
in all kinds of funny ways, coworkers laughing about something in the middle of the day that, two people that would normally laugh are laughing, or the ease of doing something. I think it goes hand in hand with appreciation too, is recognizing those things. You might be, if you expect the positive, I think, or at least I found that when I'm expecting the best, that is what I'm getting, and I can appreciate it. I can revel in it. I can make it bigger in my experience, all those things, just by expecting something better to happen. So
Didn't you? I heard a small story now, and I'm thinking it was you, chemotherapy, and how you made it
yes.
through it with flying colors and
Oh
all
my,
that.
well, it wasn't, you know what? That is a memorable experience for me because initially I was expecting, see, I had I was having radiation and they needed to give me chemo to support the radiation. And I wanted
Wow.
this to be quick and over with and done. So, I mean, this whole treatment piece. So, but I was expecting in the beginning that what everybody tells you, oh, this is going to be so hard. This is going to be so terrible. You're going to be so sick, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Including I was working with a homeopathic doctor or physician who basically said, are you sure you should get chemo? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I'm going to get chemo. That's part of the plan. And so I knew I had to change my expectations about it. And I started doing collages. Sometimes when I can't really twist my mind about it, I will do collages to picture how I would want to feel, And I did a couple of them, one on, chemo being my friend. And the other was just, it's going to be easy. This is really no big deal, So I ended up, my headphones might fall out in a minute. I may have to just talk here. But anyway, I ended up being able to change my whole mindset about this. And I thought, what would be really nice if I just went there and I just had fun. And after I made that transition, of course, what happened was I called the lady who who was going to give me the introduction and what I needed to bring and everything. She said, we have snacks, we have games, you can bring your iPad, you can bring your lunch, you can do, whatever. I thought, oh, okay, Well, that's what I did. And it ended up being literally like a spa visit. I mean, I am, there aren't, I think most of the time I was the only one there. It was an infusion center. There were 3 nurses, experts at what they were doing, hooked me up. We would sit for 4 hours and talk. Just talk about life, talk about fun things, talk about whatever. And, or I'd read or I'd eat, you know, I looked forward to it every single week. And shoot, I took the meds that, you know, helped me not get sick, you know, feel sick, you know, after a few days afterward. But hey, it was great. It was a wonderful experience. I can't, and people would say, oh, you're so strong. You really fought that. I'm like, didn't require any of that. It was just finding joy. That was a point where I said, when Abraham says joy is the key, it is the key. Yeah. It is the key. It turned it totally around. Yeah.
So if somebody's watching this who is getting ready to go into this and they're scared out of their mind or whatever, what would you say to them?
I say? Well, I would say that a change of mind, that is something you have to control. I knew that. I knew that's the only thing I could control. I knew that the way my mood would be very important. So I would say that looking at maybe that you are supported in life. I think that's a basis. I am supported by more than even the people around me, or that this chemo works, or whatever it is, that I find in myself that there is more, if you believe in, you know, a higher power, whatever it is, that is there supporting you. And then the second part is that your idea, your view of it, if you can imagine 10 people can see the same situation totally different, that's because of the way they look at it. So if you can change how you look at it, that it's there to, I think the main thing I started to realize was, this is here to support me. This chemo is not here to tear me down, or they didn't create this thing to tear up my body or to make me have problems. This is here to support me. And that when I go into it and knowing that my mood makes all the difference in the world. I mean, because I saw people who were really having some problems with it. But when I talked to them, they were telling me all the awful thoughts that they had about this. And that you can change. You can change your thought. You can change your thinking about it. You can find some positive in the midst of what's happening here. And that's your job, is to find that, because no one else can do that for you. You have to find that. So, and I do it through collage. I do it through, you know, looking at a way, almost looking at it from an outside position, objective position, you know, like what would you want to tell somebody else after this experience? You know, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? Not afraid. Yeah, maybe you're feeling afraid now, but that's not how you want to feel. Go in that direction. Go in that direction any and every way you can. Any and every way you can. And it's going to be different ways and for different people. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is, and yeah, we're definitely linking this to this experience for you, but this is life. This is life. Every single day getting up. Yeah. How do you want to go into this day? How do you want this day?
Absolutely.
You know, one of my biggest things.
And can I interrupt for a second and just say, you start with small things. You don't start with a cancer diagnosis, you know. You start with little things in your day, every day.
Like what?
You said it. Well, I mean, like driving, like realizing that you're not that excited about going to work today. How else can you look at that so that you are more excited to go to work that day?
Yeah.
You know, you don't like, you're looking forward to making breakfast in the morning. How can you make that fun? How can you say, wow, my body is getting nourished here? Look at the sun. I live in Florida. Look at the sun that we have. I think 300 sunny days of the year out of the 365 days of the year, or something like that. Some like outrageous number of sunshine days. It's hot as heck, yeah, but we got sun.
Yes. I like.
Yeah.
In the previous podcast, we were talking about this. We were talking about how, she's the mother of two girls, and nobody wants to do the dishes and stuff, but we love it when the kitchen is clean and the counters are clean and uncluttered and there's no dishes. We love that. And to go into the doing the dishes with that expectation, with that looking into, this is the result I'm going to get. And sure enough, and it how to make the chores, how to make anything in life that feels like a chore. Like you said, with exercise, anything in life that's a chore. We, diets too. We may not like how to do this, but God, we love the outcomes. We love that outcome.
Yeah. And even sometimes we can even find something even within that distasteful thing, like, I don't know, as I say with diets, I love that my body digests my food. I love I have a body. I love the way I love the way my ankles look. I don't know, whatever you can find, instead of focusing on the part that you really dislike. I think that's a skill to develop, to where we're going to focus. It is a skill, and I say that because I think people give up too easily in trying to figure out how they can use that. So,
well, in the beginning, you talked about ease, and I think it's within the ease. It's there's a part of us that is autopilot, right? And it's not that part that looks at the negative of things. It might feel like it because we're so used to it, but it's not. There's when we're chill, when we're not paying attention to our thoughts, when we're just taking a walk or walking from the laundry room to, there is a part of us that's just flowing effortlessly. And I think all of that is within that. It's within that simplicity, that easy, that not trying to focus, not trying to make things turn out right. Just that it is an autopilot. You're not, it's like there's times where I'm driving and all of a sudden I can't remember the last 5 miles. And I'm like going, what the hell happened? Where did I go? But I think, in that effortless, there's an effortlessness in there. There's this just total, didn't try, not do, it's as easy as the weather happening outside. It's as easy as the sun coming up. It's as easy as glancing up and, a shooting star. It's that ease, and it's within that. I think there's so much of our magic, so much of our wondrous abilities within that simplicity, in that autopilot.
Right. And that's where noticing comes in, being able to catch that moment, like you were saying, to go, wow, that was wonderful. I watch it in other people sometimes if you can see it in other people and not feel like they're doing something better than you. Like I work with a lady who I've told her, I said, my job right now is I'm a grocery stock clerk, and okay. And
I'm a checkout. I do
all
checkout.
right. We're in the same business. And there's this lady, she's probably been doing this for 30 plus years. And but she has this elegance in the way that she packs up her products to be stocked. And it's just so effortless and so wonderful. And she doesn't really notice it, but I really appreciate it. I just think it's so cool. that, and she, people just take it for granted, but it's, I think it's noticing those kinds of things that really makes you appreciate life in general in all kinds of aspects. It really does. And how easy life can be. I see her doing that. There's no reason why I can't do that. But she has she's allowing it. She's allowing that ease and flow and, and it's wonderful to see.
Like the checkout, I have a courtesy clerk, or what we used to call a bagger. That was so much easier. Yeah, now they're courtesy clerks. It's much more fancy name. But there are times where I don't have one and I've got to bag the groceries. And I love it. It's so much fun because the video game Tetris, I used to be really good at Tetris. Tetris is where you're stocking things on top and you're doing it efficiently. And I'm putting stuff in those bags. And one guy goes, "Dang, you're good at that." And I'm like, Tetris queen right here. Hello, you dang right, I'm good at this. But and I got one guy came in and he's like, "You have your degree in kinesiology." He goes, we were talking about the things I've done in my life. I used to run the anesthesia machine, in surgeries and stuff. He goes, "What are you doing working as a checker or whatever?" And I'm like, I'm living life.
Absolutely.
I am living life. I have had, in just the 2 months I've been doing this, I have had more ahas, more, real life, just wows coming at me. And the opportunity over and over and over, and I mean, God, all day long, to step into or step into wow. And Sunday was a circus. Sunday was crazy, longest 8 hours of my life. But when I got to the other side of it, I was like, I did it. It. And I look back on it like I would not have traded that day for anything. It was so amazing in the chaos and the go, 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 go. No, go faster. Go, go, go. No, you don't get your break. We can't have you take a break. See that line going down? Go, go, go. And it was, And I was just like going, wow, this is so much fun.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been doing this for 10 years. Hadn't expected to do it for 10 years. Of course, I've done all kinds of things. I've done feng shui consultations. I did for a while. I was a designer at Disney. I mean, a lot of different things, creating programs. But these 10 years, because of the nature of the work, I've explored law of attraction much deeper because I easily play. Maybe I could have played with it in the other environments, but this is a perfect environment in the public to practice and to try different things. And I've done things that I never imagined that I would be doing vibrationally that are fun, like shifting my experience with the different managers I've had, where initially I was like, I can't stand that guy, to, them telling me they love me and I love them and I'm missing them. And we're, but I'm using things like, I know it's not them. I know it's not them. It's me. I need to make the shift. And then when I made the shift, amazing
Oh
things
my,
happen.
yes.
So yes, this is a great playground to do that in.
Oh my
Perfect.
gosh, I love this. I
And
love this. I
manifest new
love this.
positions, by not getting all caught up in something, a minute being really, wanting it till, okay, all right, that's fine. I won't until I'm just enjoying what I'm doing, I'm meditating when I'm stocking, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the position comes up. And
Yeah.
who else do they think about? Just me. They're like, who else? Who do you think about when you see this position, Melanie? Right? So it's just amazing. It's amazing
Yeah.
to be in that environment. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, to know that you were brought, well, number one, you manifested this. It's like, okay, I don't know how this energy serves me, but I know it does. And, I'm during my break, I'm sitting outside the store, and this is one of the big, big, big conglomerate, big guys. And I'm sitting outside the store, probably the same one.
It might be.
I'm sitting outside and I'm like going, I manifested this and all its drama and all its, parts where I'm like going, I gotta fix it. I gotta fix it. I gotta fix it.
Right,
and it's like,
right.
okay, how do you want to go in? How do you want, you're creating right now when you walk in that door, what you're going to see, how do you want this to be? And just letting it be fun, letting it be like when I was little and I used to play house and I'd be like, okay, I'm the mother and you are the cowboy and you are, and just playing. And then also going, if I see this place as a big conglomerate and they don't care about their little employees, this is what I hear from others.
Right.
Then this is what I'm going, here's what that whole expectation, here's what I'm going to see. So today's my opportunity to play with the clay. Let's see what we can make. Let's see what we can make that's going to blow my shoes off. And, and then trust that the universe is going, okay, I hear what you want, but I'm the pro here. Move over and let me blow you away if that's what you want.
Yes.
And it is so, and I also remember when you hear Abraham say, being able to keep your joy in the middle of the war zone. Right. And I'm like, there's nobody in the war zone more than you and I here.
Right. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, it is war. And and there's a reason why I'm here now. There's a reason why, because I was living up in the mountains where it's very peaceful and it's quiet. Okay. And it's,
I was working at home.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We have our, this is, I'm in the peace and I'm in the quiet and I can go hiking any day and I have gorgeous trees right outside and I was in a community of like 100 something people. That was it. That was our population. So it was so peaceful and it was so idyllic, but I was like, I'm too protected here. I need life. I need to get out and see people and And after 4 years, well, guess what, baby?
You got it.
Careful what you wish for.
Threw you right in there.
I know. I was like going, man, life threw me to the wolves. But it is like you said, so many opportunities to practice what I've learned, practice what I know, and find the new, the constant new, and just going, wow. And even in the when things get icky, just knowing, okay, I created that for a reason. I don't know what it is, but I know it's awesome. And I know it's here to serve me, and just playing. And I love this. I just love how life is such an adventure.
Yeah, it is. And that's the fun part, and that we can play with it.
Yes.
Right. We can play with it. It's not like something's being done to us.
Yeah.
We can play with it. Yeah.
Oh,
it's very exciting.
And you, oh my God, chemo, you have had the hugest, because there's the big C, and everybody just create such a monster out of that, the whole experience and
Well,
everything.
and you know what, that's another thing is, let me hold on for 1 second. Let me see if I can switch to my headset if it's working. Hold on. Or otherwise, well, I'll just, you might have some, where am I going here? Let me see here. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. Perfect. Oh, good. Because it wasn't working for a minute. I was on Facebook, then it just, for some reason, it just didn't do it. But what I was going to say was I did limit who I talked to about it.
Yeah.
And I was very, very hesitant. I'd actually trying to think. I'd only been there maybe 6 months. I had transferred to a new store. I had taken a new position. And I'd only been there 6 months. And so I was kind of cautious about, should I say anything to the people that I work with? You see, I kind of have a big mouth. So I'd already said I had this exam and I was like, oh, it's going to be fine, blah, 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 and then I found out that, okay, it's cancer. So we have to do something. And so I had a friend who told me, said, I don't know if I would say anything to anybody else. And I decided that I would, because I knew that it was going to be hard for me to just not say anything. Yeah. And I did communicate with a couple of people who I chose very well, who said, I'm not going to be asking you about this all the time. You need something, you tell me. If you want to talk about it, you tell me. I am not going to be, in your face all the time. And I felt so blessed, as a result of that. I attracted those people who were very conscientious about that. My managers, of course, I told them. One manager actually was complaining that I was going to be taking my medical, appointments, and I thank her, because I ended up getting FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act, so that I could use my sick time if I needed to for appointments, which I actually scheduled just about everything before I worked. So it wasn't a big deal. But I think their expectations were too, that I was going to be out all the time,
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. I think I was out one day and maybe a portion of an hour for an appointment. And it was very easy, very doable. It was very easy. Yeah. So I did limit who I talked to about it. And I even, like I said, I found that it was a lot of people's ideas about treatment are, I think, were warped from the perspective that I had.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have long conversations with them. People who wanted to tell, who found out about it, wanted to tell me about how, so-and-so died, found out they had it, somebody else. I was like, what? Why do I want to hear that? And then I had other people, after I finished my treatment, said, I didn't know. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about it. Oh, you're so, brave and blah, blah. And I was like, okay, yeah. I just didn't take myself through it as a challenge. It was actually, it was joyful. Even the radiation. I mean, the machine had lights above it and they played music for you. And, you're laying out on this cushy bed. And, I was like, I'm looking at this machine. I'm like, this is like a spaceship, and I'm looking up and I'm admiring the machine, and, and the people who are working with me were just so sweet. And, it was just great. That's, and I know that I manifested that through my perspective on it. But it was still luscious, being in that.
Did you find there was an ease in that? Did you find there wasn't
once I got started, because I'll tell you, the first time I went, my first radiation visit, not for my actual appointment, I had a car accident. very minor, because I was just like shaking from fear. But I just kept building on appreciating those things that I really could appreciate until I would be driving and I would have green lights all the way. I mean, I was on one side of town, driving to another side of the town, and I had green lights all the way. So, I mean.
It's so, God, this is so huge. And I've, in a few of my previous podcasts, I've talked about how my dog of 17 years, I recently let her go. And the first reaction you get from everybody is, oh, and I was like, and so I was definitely very careful. I did in the past, whenever one of my dogs I would put down or something, I broadcasted it to the world because I wanted that. I wanted I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I didn't realize
which is okay.
How much, I didn't realize how much I lived off that until this time around, where I was like, no, I am not going into it the same. I am not interacting with death and grief from fear, from worry, from, oh, this is a horrible thing. I wanted it to be something new, something empowering. So I didn't tell anybody. This was just between me and my dog. And it was amazing. It was the most fantastic experience I've ever had. I discovered a whole new world I didn't even know existed.
Wow.
Yes. And it was so wonderful. And so when some people found out, they were like, oh, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you? And it's like, because I didn't want this.
Right.
I was interested in interacting with death from such a radically different perspective than I've ever experienced, that it was important to me that I manifested people who would also be in that boat. And I said, so I just kept it between me. And there was just something so easy within, I didn't have the intention to go into my dog's passing this way. I had no intention to go into it. It just happened. It just happened naturally. It was just like, this is how we're going to interact with death. And I was like, okay, I like that better. But there was some effort. There was some catching my thoughts, watching my thoughts. But once again, there was an ease in there that I had never experienced before. And it was so much different than, okay, today I am, there was just, there was something so effortless in it. There was this this easy breath. And I didn't know that, it made me realize that life has a lot more control of this life than I do, and that it's like, this is going to happen when it's meant to happen. And you just need to back off and relax. And it's hard to explain.
It's a trust of life and the way life works. Really, and a reliance that you're going to be okay. It's going to work out beautifully. And I can go with the flow. What I'm saying? It's kind of like that. It's like, I felt, even in the, with radiation and chemo, that I was in good hands. I didn't have to worry about, somebody who's concerned might be thinking about, how they poke them or how long they put it in, or, make sure that this is going to go right. And none of that. It's that, I think it's the feeling that it's all well. And not to cut you off from your experience, but I want to just, I guess, kind of, maybe there was a comparison here. I had an experience months and months later where I was, and I don't know what brought it on, but I felt like, and I think it's similar to an experience you had. I was driving along and it was like I went into this other knowing where I had this, I almost wanted to laugh, to think that I would be concerned that anything could go wrong. And I just felt like I was floating along, and I was like, I had this humor in my head, and I was just like, this is so ridiculous, and then I could feel, I kind of came out of it, and it was like I was slow, like a plane starts to land, and you see how fast everything is really going, even though it seemed like it was slow. It's like kind of like that. And then I was back into regular time again.
Yeah.
It was the strangest thing, but it felt so good. And it was kind of like that reliance on life. Like, what the heck do you have to worry about? This is so fantastic. You feel this. You feel how wonderful life is, how safe it is, how much you're taken care of.
Yes. I love this. I love that you brought that up. I mean, those are those epiphanic blips that we get. And it's like, wait, bring that back. But okay, so today I am getting my vaccination. And because through our job,
I've gotten
we
one.
have that.
Yeah. We gotta talk later on who you work for.
I know. And when they came, I'm very much like, I definitely came from the mindset of no vaccinations. I don't do that.
Yeah.
And I knew this was an opportunity to once again embrace a new aspect of myself. And so when they asked, and I also know that it helps soothe the people around me. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like,
yes.
Even though that's not my job, it's still, if I'm interacting with somebody and they're like, did you get your vaccination yet? And I know that by my saying yes, they're going to move into more of a joyful state. I'm like, let's play there,
Yeah.
So when they asked me, I said, yeah, I'll do it. And yet there was this little stirring in me. Mm-hmm. So when my boss came to me and he said, okay, what day do you want to go and get it done? I'm like, okay, how about Tuesday? Let's do Tuesday at 3:13. And he handed me the paperwork. It's all done. And when I got in my car and started driving, holy shit, the panic that came up, just the fear, and everybody's, oh, don't do it. It's experimental, blah, blah, blah. And all of that came rushing in. Right. And I just allowed it. I was like, okay. And maybe I should cancel. And in that moment, I just reached out. I'm like, I don't know who's real. I don't know who's not real, but whoever's out there, you guys help me here. I help me to just get clarity here. And then I let it go. And I just kind of, I saw like this turkey vulture and I was like, is that a hawk? I just lost the thought of the worry. And all of a sudden that exact same thing came to me. I'm driving my car, but all of a sudden everything just clarified. And it was this, you always come back to you. Every experience you ever have, sickness, health, losing a limb, whatever, you always come back to you. And aren't you always okay? You're always okay. You always come back to you. All the experiences are just experiences. They come and go. But you remain, and you're going to remain through this too. And in that moment, I felt so big. And in a video I posted yesterday, I was like, I felt unconquerable. It's like, it was a joke to think anything could hurt me. An absolute joke. And I was like,
yes.
I know. I was like going, oh, this is going to be a blast. This is going to be so much fun. I'm going to go, and so it's like, I woke up this morning expecting excellence of my whole day. And of course it always delivers. And I can't wait for 3:13 or 3:15 to show up so I can go and have this experience. And, everybody's going, oh, make sure you get the shot from Pfizer. Don't get it from, I don't know who this other one is. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Okay, I hear you. And I'm just like, and it is no coincidence that you and I are having this podcast today on the day that I'm having that shot. I just, I love it.
Yeah, it's just, you know what, I came from the similar place. It's just, and I, at my store, they said, I decided, you know what, I am going to do it for the soothing of others, in that sense. And as a byproduct. And I just, I said, I'll get it done because my store will probably get it. Whenever it's easy to get, I'll get it.
Yeah.
And I come in, my store manager says, do you want to do this? Hang around today. they may need you, you know. So I was like, so I went through kind of like, yeah, what, you know, I'm doing them a favor.
Yeah.
I had to put it on that. But once, you know, and then, and it hurt like heck for me personally. Not most people don't have the experience of that. So I know there was maybe a little wobble there, but it just, it's not, I don't know. I feel good now that I've done it, because mainly because people are saying, you know, like I get my next one this Friday, my second one. And now that the CDC has said, you know, people who've gotten vaccinated can gather together, you know, and I have a lot of friends who are in my age group with grandchildren and you know, and in-laws and all this kind of stuff. And they kind of want to know that I've got mine.
Yeah.
If we're going to hang out. So now I'm like, I'm acceptable, you know?
They love me now. That's so funny. That just reminded me, just as you said that, there's a Dr. Seuss book called Stars on Thars. And there's this group of creatures, and they all have stars on their bellies. And there's the outcasts over here that don't have stars on their bellies. And there's this guy that comes to town, and he has a put a star on your belly machine. And you walk in and it puts a star on your belly. And all the outcasts start getting it done. And the acceptable crowd was like, they're not happy about this at all, because no, we don't know who to rise above. And so he created a machine that removes the star from your belly. So all these creatures go through and they have the stars removed. And now that's the ideal way to be, is no star on your belly. And then so pretty soon, all these creatures are running through all these machines, getting stars on, getting stars off, getting stars on, and the machines blow up. And now nobody knows who is who. Yeah, nobody knows who was the original stars on the bellies or anything. And now everybody just has to love everybody. And
you know what? Maybe I hope that's what happens, because there's still a stigma related to it. You know, it'll be nice that this becomes a non-issue for most people. You know.
Yeah. Isn't that? Well, and isn't that probably the bottom line of this whole podcast? Can we just get to where it's a non-issue, to where you can just love life as it is, trust, and, you know,
love life, have ease in life, know that everything is working out, and we are so well taken care of. That's what it's about.
Really.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, you know, that experience, the chemo experience, wasn't the only, you know, of course, only dramatic, you know, experience of my life. But I just feel like I'm more aware now. Yeah. I'm more aware of how valuable my experiences are and have been. Yes. And that I can look newly at the life that I have now and appreciate it from a different perspective. You know, I have a lot of ease. You know, I had I can end with this. I had my car. I bought a new car, and I won't go into that car story. I manifested a new car last year.
Oh yes, you will.
I will. Okay. Well, okay. Well, I'm going to start with the first story, and then, but I would love to talk about the other story, and I will do that. But just briefly, what I was thinking about was that I had this new car that I love, which was, as far as I knew, was in perfect shape. Did something weird going to work, and then it didn't start at the end of the day when I went in, and I had to have it towed and all this kind of stuff, and got it fixed. It was very simple. I needed a new battery, no big deal. But I got into work, and I just decided that this is that ease again. This is easy. What I want to get back to ease. I want to get back to feeling like this is easy. And I got this overwhelming feeling of how pampered I was. I had called in, I said, I might be really late for work today because of my car, blah, blah, blah. You know, I realized I was a little late for work, but I realized that I can leave my car, they'll come pick it up and tow it. I don't have to be here. I can take Uber to work and get to work. I can get Uber or a friend to pick me up from work. I was like, from all avenues, I was totally pampered. And that awareness just made me feel so rich that day and so good and just so like, I got a great. So in terms of the car, I ended up, it was near the beginning of the pandemic. In February, March, I had been determined exposed to COVID. So I was on quarantine for a few days because my 2 weeks had already been, almost up before they realized it. And so I was coming back. I had realized intuitively realized that we were supposed to get going to have to wear masks. So I made masks while I was off. I'm driving home from work, my first day back, and the lady runs the red light and hits my car and totals the car. I had been trying to figure out how I was going to get into a new car because I wasn't real happy with the car I had at the time and could not figure it out. How I was going to do the loan money, how I was going to do this, blah, 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 And then finally I just settled in and I said, this is all right. This car is just fine, for right now. It's good. It drives okay, blah, blah, blah. So I have this accident. It turns out that the video, oftentimes the video camera is not working at an intersection. Video camera showed exactly what happened. So, I wasn't cited. My insurance company got on it right away. This happened on a Monday night. By Saturday, I had found a new car, had a loan lined up. They had totaled the car, paid off my loan, my last car's loan, gave me $5,000 for down payment. And Saturday, I looked at online on Friday night, I looked at a car and I made appointments for several, went in on Saturday. The one that I wanted was not, they sold it off. So I went to another dealer, went in, saw the car. I knew that was the car. I looked at one car. One car, and I just like, this is my car.
Yes.
Didn't buy it that day because I wanted my loan people involved. Guy tried to say, we're going to sell it off. You better take it now, blah, blah, blah. It all worked out. The salesman said, I'm keeping it for you on Tuesday. When can you come in? We're going to have it all ready for you. It's going to be. And it all worked out. And the car was perfect condition, 2018, newer than my old car, less than 15,000 miles on it.
Wow.
It's just a gorgeous car. And, here I am with my nice little car and I'm just loving it. And it all made a turnaround in a few quick days in the midst of pandemic. Yeah.
I love it. That's that ease I'm talking about. We say, I knew, I just knew. That's the ease. That's that ease I was talking about.
And when I bought the previous car, I saw the car I liked the first few times and I questioned it. I said, nope, I got to keep looking. I got to keep looking. I got to keep looking. And in fact, the salesman said, why don't you just take the car now? And I was like, no, it'll be there.
I love Toyota 4Runners, and this is a long time ago when I was, playing with Toyota 4Runners, and I was in a state of, I got to get a new one. I didn't know what was going on. There was nothing wrong with the one I had other than it was just had a lot of miles on it, but it was fine. And so I went to this dealership and they had a white one and it was nice. And I was just dickering around and it wasn't flowing smoothly. And there was all this back and forth, when you sit down with the salesman and he goes, okay, I'm going to take this offer to my boss. And there was just that. And I said, you know what? No, I'm out of here. And he goes, no, wait, this is the one you want. I'll get the deal you want. Da, 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 da. And I said, no, no. And as I was walking out, the head boss comes out and he goes, hey, what can we do to sell this car to you? I said, go with my original offer. And I said, I know my cars and I know that's what this one's worth. And he goes, well, I'll tell you what, well, if you're willing to take it for this much. And I said, nope, see, this isn't easy. Bye. And as I know, and it was all about that ease. There was no ease. And as I was leaving, a friend of mine that lived down in about 2 hours away, she goes, hey, I heard you're looking for a 4Runner. And I said, yeah. And she goes, I was just at a Dodge dealership and they've got one there that is beautiful and in pristine condition. And because they're Dodge, they want to get rid of it. And so that day I was like, I'm on my way. And I drove down there. And as I walked onto it, I saw it. I didn't know the year. I didn't know anything about it. I knew that was it. I knew it. And and it was so easy. There was no dickering. There was no screwing around. And I looked under, I know a lot about cars. So I climbed underneath. Everything was pristine. It was, it was newer than the white one. It had less miles and it was in such pristine condition. And I'm just like, my car. And oh my God. And I got it for such a great price because Dodge is like, get it off our lot. Take it out. Get it out of here. But it was there. And in that moment, I was like, that ease wasn't in the white one. And I got that aha. I got that, oh, life could be that easy. That knowing and going, oh, it really is. And it's like putting my dog down. I never could. I was able to see that I never could have gone into any death prior to that from a different standpoint, from a different mindset. That mindset of death doesn't have to be this way. Death can actually be a joy. I never could have done that before. And in that moment, I realized that was because who I was in that moment. And it was this ease. It was just this ease of you're always right on track. You're always having the experience you're supposed to be having. You don't have to make anything happen. You don't have to try. You don't have to try. It's automatic. It's natural. As Sanjala says, it's natural, life is and easy. Normal. Well, and she just always says it's natural. It's natural. It is this natural. And when I try and make things happen because it's natural, no, that didn't work.
Right. No, that's not natural then.
It's that, like you said, it's that letting go and just trusting that natural part of you is going to take over if you'll let it. If you just back off and go, okay.
And because that nervousness, that wanting to make it happen, that this might not happen, that feeling is an indicator that no, you're not letting it happen.
There's that little smidgen of desperation, and that's cool, and seeing it and going, okay, I see you're here still. All right. It is that just going, okay, that really ushers in your strength, your ability, your godhood. It's never the efforting of trying to make ourselves there because I have an agenda and I got to be that way now because I'm so scared. Good luck with that. How's that working out for you?
And fortunately, people do see that it looks like it's happened, but it doesn't. It's the hard way. It really is. It's not necessary. I love ease. I love being in the flow when I'm at ease. I've done a lot of fighting, but So I know what that ease feels like.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh my goch, this has been so much fun. This was so much fun. Oh,
I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you so much. You're so fun to talk to. And I haven't even given you much chance to talk. I love your stories. I would love to hear more about that death experience that you worked with. Yeah.
Well, I'll send you a link because I do on this YouTube channel, there are my own videos where I'm just talking to And
I started to watch. I didn't have time to watch the vaccine one, but I was going to watch that one.
Yeah. Well, and it's so funny when I look back at those and I'm like going, I'm not that person anymore. And it was just like 2 months ago. Yeah. And to see how much you've changed in that time and just enjoying that aspect. But I definitely did one where I was talking about, in fact, oh my gosh, I did a podcast with her name is sliding by, but her and I had same thing, perfect timing. I was in the middle of putting my dog down, and I do my podcast with her, and she has the most fantastic story about her husband committing suicide, and her ability to let him, to find the gifts within that of, if I had demanded he stay, he would have been miserable. And so how she was able to be grateful that he did that, and to celebrate the death. And I was like, oh my God, I love these podcasts. They're so perfect. And
okay, I'll look for that one. I definitely would love to see that. I'll just look through all of them.
Well, now that one
I've seen some.
That one was that was back when I was first doing it, and it was only audio. So I'll send it to you.
Okay.
That's not on my YouTube. That's actually only in Anchor, my Anchor channel. So there's just, I love the whole purpose of this is that you guys talk. You guys are telling your wondrous. Every single human being out there has the most amazing stories. The most empowering. Everybody has a book, and that's the whole purpose of this. I don't, it's like, it's great to have Oprah or whatever on but everybody's seen Oprah. I want the people that people haven't seen. I want the people who do what you did, where you're like, I don't know what I would talk about. I don't even know how to do this. And me going, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fun.
It has been. It absolutely has been. And very easy. Very fun.
Of course. All right, Melanie, thank you so much. This has just been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you, Kristen. It has been. And I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
And what you're doing. It's a great podcast.
Awesome. I love it. And Sanjala was my very first guest.
Okay. I think I saw her second interview with you.
She was my first. When you look on my Anchor, it's all those are on there, and she was my very first guest. And of course it was when she was taught. She was just brilliant, of course. And
she is. I agree. And
you
are too. And that's why you're doing
you.
What you're doing. I love it.
Okay. I do too. I absolutely adore it. All right, my dear, I'm gonna let you go.
Right. Okay.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Okay. Bye.